Blessings, beautiful souls. Melanie Beckler here, and in this video, we're going to look at a few things about the April 1st full moon energy and some of the themes and opportunities and challenges in this entrance into the month of April, which brings a very fiery energy in our already fiery year of the fire horse. And so the first thing to know is that this full moon on April 1st, which in the West we call April Fool's Day, which represents the Fool card in tarot, the card of stepping into the unknown, new beginnings, taking a leap of faith. And so the full moon is typically the time of culmination, completion, manifestation. And the new moon is typically the time of new beginnings. But with the full moon happening on the 1st, on this point of new beginnings, the beginning of April, April Fool's Day, there's a uniqueness to this where we're really being encouraged to take a step forward towards what we want in the direction of where you're being guided and led, what your heart is calling for, what your soul is yearning for, to begin moving in this direction in the face of the doubts or fears or beliefs that you can't. Spirit wants you to know that this year brings this new potential of infinite possibility. But to claim this, we have to claim it, which is about saying yes to ourselves, yes to our dreams, and moving forward even though it doesn't all make sense, even though we can't see the path ahead, even if you can only see the next step, but then have no idea where to go. Spirit is saying, yes, trust, take action, take a step. And if you don't know which step to take, because this impulse for newness is happening at the time of the full moon, which is traditionally the time of completion, there's like this potential for review, for saying, okay, here are things that I can now recognize do not serve me in my life and past patterns, inherited programs and beliefs. Now is the time to cut the cords to things that are no longer serving you, things that are in the old. We are really moving forward in this fiery energy, ready to run, ready to ride this horse and wave of light. But to do so, we need to let go and release and clear out the fear, doubt, uncertainty, the voice of ego, the infiltration of negativity and programs that come from all around but are not in alignment with truth, with light, with life, with the power of our higher selves and higher levels and the divine guidance that's available to us in every moment, that when we tune into will guide and lead us so well at this point of rebirth, of resurrection. So Easter Sunday is coming up, which in the Christian tradition, Easter celebrates the resurrection of Christ. Did you know that Easter, the timing of it, Easter always happens on the first Sunday following the full moon, directly after the spring equinox? So that's this full moon, April 1st. So what is so important about the first full moon after the spring equinox? Now, this is a hemispherical situation. I know that people in the opposite hemisphere don't always like when I talk about specific hemisphere things, but this is important for those of us who are in spring. After the spring equinox, at this time of the full moon, there is a rising of the Christ impulse, the Christ light. You could call this crystalline if you like, the new earth energies, the middle path, the middle way, where the Christ energy conquered over the forces of Lucifer and Ahriman, where the Christ light was able to overcome sin and death in order to rise. And this cosmic Christ impulse at this full moon after the spring equinox is strong, is present in the earth, the new earth realms opening for us to experience their beauty, opening to mirror for us our own inner beauty and potential for being embodiments of Christed light, of crystalline light, of being a pillar of light on earth, fully grounded, fully present here in this physical world, and yet fully aligned, anchored and linked up with the higher light of source, of our solar angel, of our higher self, of the divine, and allowing these forces of Christ light consciousness, of expanded divine intelligence, of nous, of cosmic consciousness to anchor and embody through us, through our action, through our intention, through our thought, through our emotion, beginning to act in alignment with this in every moment and returning, shifting back into alignment when we fall out of step or out of sync. This is an immense potential right now. And there are many distractions in the world from this, things on the news, in media, in your social sphere saying, look at this, worry about this, fear about this. Remember that where you flow your attention toward, you're flowing energy toward. And so the best you can, detach, stay non-attached to the dramas of the world. This is not to say to bypass them or to ignore and pretend that we're living in a utopia realm. This is about returning awareness to what is good, true, and beautiful. And when you recognize, when you observe the harsh realities of the world today in this time of transition that we're living in, to stay centered in love, to tune into the inner spark of divine light of Christ conscious within you, and allow this to shine and rise and illuminate and flow forth, to send peace, harmony, light, blessings, prayers to those who are in war zones, to those who are immensely challenged, who are experiencing hardship and tragedy and the harshest aspects of this material realm, rather than being weighed down in energy to match those who are in that shattered, low energy state. We, as sovereign divine beings, can choose to hold the field of love. Now, again, this isn't easy, and no, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but this is the reminder I've been getting from my guides that I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you, rather than worrying about what's happening, to recognize that worry, but to not give any energy or attention to it, rather redirecting your attention to how may I serve, how may I hold the field of light, how may I shine the inner light forth to allow this wave of Christ consciousness rising to take root, to take form, to grow and bloom. This is the awakening of the new earth energies that's called forth one moment, one awakened heart, one micro choice point at a time, choosing love over fear, choosing sovereignty, choosing to focus, to know who we are, who I am as a divine spiritual being incarnate in physical form, and yet one with source, one with life, one with light, and allowing this inner alignment and union to allow us to return to center, to hold the field of love, to stay grounded and present in the face of whatever unfolds, to be the lighthouse amidst the storm, to be the pillar of light, the beacon of change, the way shower, showing, paving the way, revealing what is possible in these ascension times when we focus on the divine, choose our divine timeline, and allow the blessings, gifts, and light of the highest divine timeline, the highest divine possibilities to be co-created with and through us. And now the final thing I want to share about this full moon energy before we draw a few cards it kind of channeled through me there. We touched on it already, but I want to expand on this a bit because it's so important. Focus is a superpower. And there are things in our world now that are powerful focus shrinkers. So overconsumption of media, scrolling short form content. This is why I'm stopping creating so much short form content, because all it does is reduce our ability to focus when we engage in content in this way. And focus is so important. Focusing on the inner light allows it to expand. Focusing on what we desire to see calls it forth. And a focus, awareness, a mindfulness of our thoughts, emotions, and patterns throughout our day, throughout our life is immensely valuable for then being able to shift. So this is the third thing, is that this is this powerful choice point time, but the choice point is consecutive in every moment. And it's about our internal state of being. And so the guidance I've been getting is to be aware of the thoughts and emotions, the thought and emotion patterns that are playing on autopilot, that were programmed prior to the age of 5, that we've been working to rewrite and recalibrate, but there's certain thought forms, emotional imprints. Some of this is being actively seeded by the external to weigh us down, to suppress the conscious awakening of humanity, but that will not prevail because we are sovereign divine beings who are going to claim this opportunity now to observe ourselves and observe our thoughts and recognize when we are slipping into negative thinking or negative emotional imprint. And rather than swimming in that, rather than diving into it, spiraling into it, allowing it to spin us off center and spiral throughout our life, we can pause. We can observe the negative thought, selfish inclination, old program, limited belief. And becoming aware of it is the first step to then shift. We don't need to express it. We don't need to have hours of therapy talking about it. We don't need to overanalyze it. This was the way in the old paradigm. However, we're in this new, rapid, fast energy of awakened light and life. And so, by simply becoming aware, as there is a negative emotion that arises, as there is a fear or uncertainty that arises, to recognize it, to look at it, oh, look, there's that pattern, and then to consciously sublimate it, meaning give no energy or attention to it. So rather than going into it, analyzing it, process grouping it, we can simply allow it to go, to transmute and transform it. So this is like if you're angry and you can sublimate the anger into laughter, or if you're just feeling heavy and weighed down and instead choose to clean your house, to move energy, to take that emotion and put the energy into motion, to shift and elevate your state and return to center. And if you do lash out or express the emotion and spiral into a lower frequency, to then pause and catch yourself, to recognize what works for you, to shift, to regulate your state. I've said so many times here on this channel that for me, going out into nature, doing breath work, taking a shower or a salt bath, swimming in the ocean, there's so many ways, working out, cleaning my house. These are all powerful ways to shift and to then, as best as we can, follow the good inclinations of our heart, the impulses of action to be of service rather than to do things that are self-serving, the emotions that bring forth love and gratitude and these high vibrational states, to act in alignment with these aspects of our heart, and to, one moment at a time, pull our energy away from those selfish inclinations, old patterns, old fears, old thought forms, to literally give them no energy. I think the word is asphyxiate, to cut off the breath, to cut off the life force from this old, heavy, distorted programming and patterning. And when we stop feeding it, it stops having any power over us, and we can then stand in alignment with life, in alignment with light, come into right relationship with life force, allowing the divine life force that's abundantly available to circulate through our field, to bring healing, to bring manifestation, to bring blessings, to bring synchronicity. The possibilities truly are infinite. The energy is here. The divine support is available. Now it is up to us to choose to step away from what no longer serves, and to focus and to be committed and to claim our power as sovereign beings in this new earth realm where we are consciously calling forth the highest timeline of divine light and prosperity and joy and love and all the blessings that are on offer for us. So let's draw a card first from the Ascension Angel cards. Our team, guides, angels, ascended masters. What else do we need to know? Some of you were saying you like when I shuffle on camera, which is sometimes hard, but I will do my best. And again, our card is to breathe and become aware. Awareness of the negative thoughts and patterns is a precursor to then be able to shift, to recognize where we're being pulled into fear, and then to recognize, to be aware what works for you to shift. Placing your hands over your heart and taking deep breaths, tuning into the toroidal light field of your aura, claiming the state of inner balance and radiant presence that's truly available in every moment when we're aware and allowing it forth. We'll now draw a card from the Intuitive Oracle cards. Oh, that one jumped out. Okay, Archangel Michael stepping forward with the protection card. Shield your energy, call on support from spirit and strength. So this card is just bringing the validation that, yes, there are some shenanigans, you could say, that are happening in the world right now. There are, yes, lower forces of darkness and negativity, but keep in mind that darkness and negativity are no match for the infinite light of Source. Love, light, intelligence of Source is infinitely more powerful than darkness of negativity. So if you feel like you're being affected by some infiltration, by some entities or lower programs, call in Archangel Michael. He is abundantly available to support in every moment and is immensely powerful. Archangel Michael, guide and support us each through these turbulent times. Help us to come into alignment with divine I Am presence, to claim the true sovereign nature of the divine humans we are. Do not abandon us to the tests of the day. Stand by our side. Help us to overcome all forces of evil, darkness, and negativity. Pour your radiant light upon us, your support and guidance. We thank you for your presence and love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. So something that I heard a while ago, and I can't remember where, but it just popped into my head, is that don't worry so much about the forces of darkness, the devourer, the evil that is in the world. The devourer will devour itself by its own nature. And so rather what we can do is to shield ourselves with light, to wear the love, light, intelligence, the armor of God. When we are in sincerity, when we're in a state of love, when we are in compassion, non-attachment, selfless service, we are so protected. It's only when we fall in to selfishness, or when we are somehow acting out of integrity and out of alignment, that we even become susceptible to those negative infiltrations. But if there is any sort of negative infiltration, call in Archangel Michael with the sword of light to cut the cords to attachment, to cut away all that no longer serves, so we can truly thrive in this April energy of new beginnings. Okay, 2 more cards jumped out. Allowing our inner child aspect to rise to the surface, allowing this joy and lightness, the sweetness of life, allowing yourself to play, to be creative, to, again, set yourself free from the old patterns and programs. So this is the message of the fool, to step boldly into the unknown, knowing that you are supported and guided, and that love and laughter and lightness and beauty, this is the way, and this will guide and reveal your way. Okay, and then our final card is Sacred Space. So this is a reminder to not only call in the light of Source, the light of God into your body, but also into your home. And because I am speaking about April as being spring, remember that this is an immensely powerful time for spring cleaning. Oh, the lighting's a little weird there. For getting rid of clutter mentally and physically, for harmonizing within and around you, and working with the flow of energy in your space in order to support yourself in claiming your sovereignty, in coming into greater clarity, in knowing and remembering who you truly are, dear divine being, and acting in alignment with this one moment and one step at a time. As we move into this month of April, we're really moving into momentum of alignment and opening to the gifts and miraculous unfoldment that is possible as a result. Then April 17th, there's a really powerful new moon, lots of alignment there. And then into May, we have some more big energy shifts and transforming possibility. So the key to make the most of it, of this accelerated dynamic period, is to stay centered and aligned, regulate your nervous system, take care of your body, honor your worth and your truth, and continue one moment and one step at a time, choosing love, peace, compassion, choosing to allow the light to circulate and flow through, and grab this potential here, grab the new energy, claim the opportunity of this moment to use everything that's happening now for your ascension of consciousness, for your elevating your vibration and claiming your power as a divine, sovereign being of light. For support with this around this new time, I have a brand new channeled session with the Council of Light. I've titled it The Inner Link, Harmonizing with the Divine. It's so, so powerful. I have a lot going on right now, like going to a very cool swimming hole later. And so I'm not going to have time to sell this as a single, but it will be up in the members area. If you're not yet a member, check that out at theangelsolution.com. I'm also planning another live channeling for later this month because this energy is so potent. And of course, when we come together and meditate together and tune into divine light together, the effect is amplified. So check out theangelsolution.com to join in on all of that. And if you haven't already subscribed here on YouTube, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and let me know what stood out to you from this message. What are you calling forth in the new energy, and anything else you'd like to share there? I love hearing from you. I love, honor, and appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.